And we have one more performer before our march, our brother Rivan.
I am Afro-Cuban Caucasian, and I am proud of the color of my skin. This is the third rally that I've been to recently, and once again, the majority of attendance is white. Obviously, no one is to blame, as we're the third whitest state in the country. So I thank you all for being here, and I especially thank those who brought their friends and encourage others to attend. I'm going to use my platform today to speak with the white people in the crowd. The following speech is based on something I came up. It's called the 3 Don't You Dares. Number 1, don't you dare think that because you came to a couple of rallies and posted a black square on Instagram that your work here is done. It takes non-stop work to be on the right side of history. If you want to be a white ally, you have to be a part of this fight every day. People of color don't have the privilege of taking a break against racial injustice. It is something that we have to think, worry, and deal with for our entire lives. If you want to be the best ally that you can be, start by taking a step back to understand what you're really doing this for. Are you here because you feel inclined, or are you here because you are sick and tired of how your family, friends, neighbors, and strangers who are people of color are continually mistreated? Next, I would encourage you to all give people of color the platform to speak. Black and brown people do not need to be spoken for. We have voices. Instead of making the conversation of change about how you recognize your privilege, maybe work on listening and then teaching others what you have been taught. Lastly, it is amazing that everyone is posting statistics around racial discrimination, but rather than posting for your followers to see, try sending factual information to people directly. By sending direct messages to people who aren't involved in the movement already, it forces them to choose whether or not it's something that they wish to fight for. Number 2. Don't you dare consume black culture without recognizing where it comes from. Your favorite songs, movies, TV shows, clothing brands, sports, and any other form of entertainment that you love would not be what it is today if it was not for black and brown people. I'm assuming you all remember, but I remember when people went to the store and they bought Nike shoes and then set them on fire because of their collaboration with Colin Kaepernick. Well, guess what? I'll bet you $1 billion that the same people who burnt their shoes ended up going back to the store to buy some new Nikes. And if not Nikes, then Adidas. And if not Adidas, then Jordan. And if not Jordan, then literally any other shoe brand that they think looks and feels good on them, even though those same exact shoes would not be what they were today if it wasn't for black culture. Everything in this country has been influenced by black and brown people because it was made by black and brown people. Being anti-black is the most un-American thing I can think of. America is black. Number 3. Don't you dare teach your children about Martin Luther King Jr. unless you are also going to teach them about Malcolm X. I know, as white people, this really hurts to hear, but MLK has been recasted as the face of the All Lives Matter movement. I know every single person in this entire crowd has been taught about the I Have a Dream speech at least once during their time at school. But the amount of people in this crowd who have read or listened to another one of his speeches is most likely significantly lower. That's not your fault. But we have to recognize the segregation didn't end with that speech. When MLK went from talking about the need for people of all races to hold hands, to the need for black excellence in terms of economic profit, he became one of the most hated men in America. He was assassinated. Now, all lives matter believers are going to scream at us repeatedly that MLK would not atone to any form of protest besides peaceful, non-violent protest. Again, MLK was assassinated. So much for non-violent protest. And to this day, we continue to witness black people all around the country murdered in cold blood for no good reason. The famous quote from Malcolm X was, "By any means necessary." I'm not a violent person. I'm not encouraging anyone in this crowd to use violence as a form of protest. Instead, I'm asking you to all think about what that really means. By any means necessary. Say it with me. By any means necessary. What that means to me is that once white people stop caring about this fight, like they continue to do over and over again, we as black and brown people will continue to make our voices heard by any means necessary. That means calling local and state politicians demanding justice. That means continuing to educate yourself and others. That means making art. That means taking to the streets in numbers. That means supporting black-owned businesses. That means calling out macro and microaggressions when you see them. That means so many things that make change. Now, before I pass the mic and we go on to do this wonderful march, I want every one of you to take out your phones and search GoFundMe Rayshard Brooks. If you need to know how to spell it, that's R-A-Y-S-H-A-R-D Brooks, B-R-O-O-K-S.
What's the area code?
The area code, just look it up, it'll be there. If you can make a donation of any number, it's a part of the movement. We need this. So, thank you for your time. I'm going to pass the mic on. Keep fighting.